and welcome to Fallawsophy. I'm your host, Jennifer Fallaw-Doering, and this is my very first show on this channel, and I want to thank you all for being here with me tonight. Fallawsophy is going to be quite an interesting show. I'm going to share a lot of things with you that I've learned. First, I'd like to introduce myself a little bit for those of you that don't know me. I am a mom, an author. I own a radio station. I've been doing radio for many years. I'm an angelic medium, medical intuitive, divine healer, and I have the ability to project my consciousness to different places and times in this dimension and others. I'm going to explain a little bit about each one of those things to you. I didn't wake up one day and decide to do these things. It's been a long journey of faith. And I came across different abilities and I learned things along the way, just at the right time. And I feel as though that was a step up in my faith. Angelic medium, it doesn't mean that I'm angelic, or that, I'm holier than thou or better than anybody else. It basically means, if you think about a regular person who's a medium, they speak with spirit, those who have passed away, other kinds of guides and things like that. I can't do that, but primarily speak with archangels. That is a higher vibration, and I've gotten very used to that vibration. So it doesn't mean that I am angelic in any way. People ask you, well, what do you do? What are your titles? What's your thing? And so I've come up with these titles because the majority of what I do, I'd like to say, is angels' work. Whatever you need, if it's healing, if it's guidance, if it's answers, that's what I do along with the archangels to help you move forward in a positive direction. I guess my journey started a long time ago. I'm also a divine remote healer. I do most everything remotely, and I can project my consciousness. Some people call it remote viewing, but remote viewing is done with a very scientific process. And I'd say remote viewing would be like looking through a window, and this is like stepping through a door. It's like walking into a dream in meditation and clicking in and out of that same experience when I'm asked a question, or I communicate with the archangels, or God, Jesus, any of them. You can talk to God, and you can talk to Jesus, and you can talk to your Blessed Mother, and you can talk to your angels, and you can talk to everybody you want to. The dark side would like us to believe that we can't, and has taught us for a very long time to stay separate and think of ourselves as separate from that. But that's a lie. We're not. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it, as long as you keep your intentions divine and true, and in the best interest of others and yourself. There's nothing wrong with it. I was raised Catholic. And it's absolutely beautiful religion. It's gotten a lot of bad rap. It's got a lot of bad news. But, there's always those in power in wherever they are, that will ruin it for everyone. But what I've experienced mostly from the Catholic religion is, in your average parish, is a lot of love, a lot of just regular people taking, celebrating the sacraments and just being really sacred about Jesus's teachings. So don't let anybody ever tell you that, well, you can talk to God, but he can't talk to you. That's ridiculous. And I'll tell you in a little bit why that's ridiculous. But, they always say he has spoken through the prophets. Okay. Well, did he only have a few? And that was a very long time ago, just for one book? Or didn't he also tell us that he would never leave us alone? So there's a lot of things that people and man have changed and formed for their own selfish purposes in the name of control. So I think that is what started me on my journey. Excuse me. Questioning that. Long time ago, my mother is like a ray of light. I mean, a woman shines in the sun. I mean, stands out in the sun. She is all so giving, so loving. Just, she's everything you should be. And I remember we were in church one time, and she said that she couldn't go to communion with us because she had gotten a divorce and she was going to go to hell. And I was like, I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that as a kid. I was like, and I thought about it, and I said, well, God says that he loves us unconditionally, right? And he's supreme being, so much smarter than I, so much more loving than I, so much more forgiving than I. I know why she got divorced. Because my father was an alcoholic, and if she had not left him, he would have died. He was destroying the family. It was the last-ditch effort to get him to get sober, and he did. And he went on, sober 25-plus years, remarried a wonderful woman who I loved very much. Gave me a stepmother, gave her a husband in all those wonderful 25 years. My mother went on to marry a stepfather, and I love him. It's a little difficult at times. But we wouldn't have had all those years with him, and we wouldn't have had all those years with Dad. He would have died. He wouldn't have got sober. Now, God can see ahead and behind and all through and everything else, right? Why would he throw this beautiful, wonderful angel of a woman into a fiery pit of hell when what she did in hindsight was save everyone? So that didn't make sense to me. And I think that's what started me on my spiritual journey. And I started reading, the Bible and Bible studies and things like that. I don't ask me to quote scripture because I'm just not good at remembering all that. I am not good at that. But it became evident that parts of the Bible were changed by man. It didn't match up. There were all these conflicting truths. And it all came down to, I got so spinning around in my head and I got so confused. It all came down to, well, what do you know? What do you know to be true in your heart? Because I've been walking around through my life and, tell you the truth, I've always given good advice. I've always had weird experiences, not scary, but just being saved and being, when it's like, wow, should have died than fallen out of that tree, and just never feeling alone. Never felt alone. And I guess it was searching for the truth, but somewhere inside of me, I always knew that it wasn't true. It wasn't true that God was going to turn against her, because he was there every step of the way, saw the whole story. And whose rules are these? You know? Now there are the basic rules, and the basic rules are basically, behave in a way that is good representation of who you truly are. And who you truly are is a piece of God. And so I believe most of what's in the Bible is meant as guidelines, not like, well, if you don't do this by the word and you don't do this by the letter, you're going to go to hell. It's more like, hey, live your life like this and you'll have a better life. Be true to who you are. Don't steal and hurt and kill and do all of these things. That's not who you are. So that set me on my journey. And, along the way, I remember my grandfather, Papa, he looked at me one day early on and said, I'm afraid you've lost your faith, because I was a young adult, and we were having fun and we were doing all kinds of stuff, but he didn't know what was going on in my heart. And I said, don't worry, Papa. I could never lose my faith. I would never let you down. And that I think it kind of like I started having, then my mother marries the stepfather, right? And she moves us into a haunted house. Found out later it was demons, but great. Thank you. Thanks, Mom. So we live in this haunted house, and it was scary. And it was just that constant, I got to get out of here right now feeling, or, leave the door open at all times so I have a quick escape, shadow figures going shoo, 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 all over the place. And it was terrible, and I'm like, okay, so my beautiful, wonderful, shining light Catholic mother married an atheist, which, very loving man, very good man. I'm not trying to say he's bad, but interesting upbringing from there. Teenage years in the haunted house with the shadow figures running around. That sparked my interest in what happens after we die. And so, then I became a mother later on, and it was interesting. As soon as I was pregnant with my first daughter, I started reading the Conversations with God series by Neale Donald Walsch. I recommend it if you're starting out. It it gets rid of a lot of dogma, a lot of untruths, and gets down to the core. And if you're confused by religion, if you've been pushed away from religion, there's a lot of wonderful religions out there if they have love at the base. They have love at the core. Get down to the basic concepts and live your life that way. So anyway, so I'm pregnant with my daughter. I was engaged, but I wasn't married. My Catholic family went, oh, so, okay, that's fine. Took a lot of faith to do that. I named her Faith, by the way. I was driving along, and it just seemed like the more I was reading these books, the more intuitive I became. I think it's because the fear started falling away. And I was driving along, long stretch to get to work. And it was just before the time I was supposed to find out if it was a girl or a boy. And I just got this wave hit me, just, it's a girl and her name is Faith. I mean, just hit me in the car. I swear that's when she came in. But like, and I was like, what was that? And just interesting experience. Then, once she came along, I really got interested in life after death, spiritual concepts, things like that. I always keep it divine. I'm always centered around God, Jesus, the angels. I don't get into anything dark ever. I'm not as anti-dark as you'd find. And just keep it like a ongoing conversation with me and God, or me and the angels that He sent. And that's how it kind of went along. But as soon as she was with me, I just started reading like all the Sylvia Browne books. I was just like I don't know, 30 or something. I read of them, and I'm like, what is this fascination? My husband at the time, it's like after she was born, my husband's like, why are you reading that garbage? Why are you reading that crap? If you want to read something, read the Bible. I'm like, first of all, I do what I want. Okay. And second of all, what do you know? How do you know that's correct? So I really felt, and I still do, that she was the real thing. And she came from the same upbringing that I did. And so, but it was interesting. I thought that it was for my daughter Faith, because tell you what, my daughter Faith, without prompting, totally normal household, totally leave it to Beaver life over there. Didn't really, she started seeing things. She started saying, well, Mommy, did you see that lady just walk through the dining room table and through the kitchen sink? And I'm like, no, I actually did not see that. And I was a little concerned, because I was like, we just bought a 111-year-old house. Great. Now I'm in another haunted house. I didn't see it. She was seeing these things. And then all of a sudden, and when she was a baby, she would look like she's having these conversations with something that I didn't see. And then one day, she's 5. I walk past her bedroom, and she's in her bedroom, and she's pulling this toy back and forth and fighting with somebody who's not there. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do about this? And thank God I had read these books, so that I was like, okay. Just ask some questions. All right. So I asked her, I said, what's going on there in your room there with where you fight with somebody? Oh, that's Mandy. Okay. Who's Mandy? It's a little boy. And I said, well, where'd he come from? And she says, well, he got in, the cars hit each other in the street, and now he can't find his mommy. I'm like, okay. I said, so is Mandy here a lot? Oh, yeah, he's here a lot. He doesn't know where else to go. I'm like, oh, that's great. Does he sleep with you? And she's like, oh, no, Mommy, he sleeps with you. I'm like, okay, that's great. Okay, so then, read more. And I'm like, okay, how do I handle this situation? So clearly, Faith Marie is psychic. And I'm like, okay, this is why I've been reading these books. This is the fascination. And pretty soon, Mandy just kind of made his way. Probably got rescued or something. But we didn't hear about him anymore. But she would do things like when she was 3 years old, she'd say, remember when I was the mommy and you were the baby and Grandma was there? And I'm like, no, tell me more about that. Tell me what happened with that. And she'd be like, A, B, C, D, and never get any more information out of her. But so it was just like, okay, I gotta know how to handle this psychic child, because I was on it. I was like 120% mom full time. I was like, I am going to be fabulous at this. and I'm going to do a good job. I'm going to read everything, and I'm going to do, you know, ignorant. Anyway, so Faith Marie is probably, to this day, the most, and I have researched over 20 years and had a lot of experiences. She is probably the most talented medium, if she'll accept it. Now she's like, I'm a young 20-year-old and 21, and I don't want to have anything to do with that. That's fine. That's fine. Probably the most talented medium that I have ever seen. With her physical eye, sees things. Anyway, so reading and trying to really educating myself on these things opened me up. It kind of like pulled down the walls. And I started having experiences, and I'm like, okay, well, just go with it, And every time she'd have an experience, I would just treat it like normal behavior. Like, oh yeah, that's probably an angel. Did you see that? Did you see that column of light that just came down and hit the bottom of the stairs? And that thing walked out of it? And I'm like, was it like a pretty thing, or was this a scary thing? She said, oh, no, it's very pretty. And I'm like, well, that's good. That's probably just an angel. We're just going to let that happen. That's fine. And so I figured, well, I'll just do the same thing with me. Okay, be rational about things and just keep moving. And so I did, and that was the early years. And then we moved up to Idaho from San Diego, California. And the girls were 4 and 7, me and my husband. And then it was 2007, he was killed by a drunk driver on his way home from work. Boom, gone. And I had to carry on with those girls. And that was really when everything, I start, talking to the angels. Probably not good timing for me to have all these experiences, but it was the true, honest desire within me. I needed God. I needed more guidance. I needed to keep going strong. I needed to stay positive. I needed to do all of these things. And I could not do it alone. And he was there. And the angels were there. And it all became very, very real. And I wanted so bad to pick up a telephone and speak to him again. Not just for me, but for them, because I was raising them. And it was along the way that somebody suggested that I meditate. And I also I do write books. The whole publishing things that didn't turn out too well with the first, but it's a total do-over, and I will. But I wrote a book. I'm not going to talk about it today because it's just getting off subject, but it's the first in a series of 5 children's novels to help children find that light within them through fanciful fiction. And doing being guests on radio shows and things like that got me into radio. And I met someone who, I'm not going to say his name because I don't know if he wants me to say his name, but I met somebody who was like an encyclopedia of all things psychic and metaphysical and spiritual and all these things. The man could have retained knowledge and retrieve it like no one I've ever seen. That's really remarkable. Anyway, so he suggested I meditate. He was a private researcher for the Monroe Institute, which at the time was the leading institute in America on the study of human consciousness. And he was doing this hemisync. And he wanted me to try that. And I didn't. I just decided to do it my own way, for stress. And so I decided to go in, and I had already been seeing the angels before that. I just wasn't telling people about it. And it's, and I'll explain that in a minute. But But I used to go and sit under this tree. And it was a tree that I had in my dreams all the time when I was growing up. And I just know that when I was there, I felt very safe, very comfortable. And so I would go and sit under this tree. And pretty soon, Archangel Gabriel came and started talking to me under that tree. And then Michael, then Blessed Mother, and then Jesus. And very interesting, when I met Jesus in meditation, he looks, if you darken his features some, he pretty much looks like the pictures. But I didn't know who he was when he came in. And I was like, who is that? Who is that? And I was like, oh, I know who you are. And I just jumped up and down, and I was, so happy. I was so happy. I just reacted before thinking. And then I thought, oh, well, that's probably not right. So I dropped to my knees, and he picks me up. He said, don't do that. And I'm like, but, and he said that creates separation between us. I don't want you to walk with me. Walk with me. And I was like, well, you can think about that for the rest of your life. That was, and then experience after experience after experience in meditation, I started asking questions about me. I started asking questions about life and time and so many things. And the person that I told you about I was working with at the time, we figured out that we have something here, because I was starting to get information I knew nothing about, but he did. And so what we did is we start tag teaming our meditations. We would go in, he would use his HemiSync technology, and I would just go. And probably just too lazy to follow I tried the HemiSync. It's too slow. But, we would go in with the same question, and we would exchange emails at the end. And I would read his, he'd read mine, see what, before, just as soon as we, and it was so cool how closely they matched up. My interpretation and the answers I received were more emotional. It was a big love fest with me over there. I'm squeezing everybody's hand, and we're talking, and we're oh, I love you too. And he goes in like a scientist and comes back with all this very very specific information. I got the same information told like a children's story. And so that's kind of how I teach everything that I find out. Very, very simply. And I think it's important, because why cloud the message with wording that might not absorb as easily as just telling a story? And so that's how the meditation started. I was already out of writing. Just so many things were happening in that time of my life, that long period of time when I was widowed and raising the two girls. And, I'm a very rational person. I studied business, for God's sakes. I mean, I really had to test this stuff out before I felt confident enough that this was not just some kind of fantasy, or that I had just lost my mind. And this person coming into my life and discussing these things with me and explaining things to me really, really helped in opening me up. I think that the more, if you're on a spiritual journey, the more that if you're interested in mediumship or something like that, the more you read about it, the more you learn, the less fear there is about it. And it opens you up. One of the biggest blocks that we have, I believe everybody is intuitive. Each and every one of you is a piece of God. Why limit God? Who are you to say that God isn't capable of this or God isn't capable of that? The biggest limitation we all have is doubt. It's programming, and that comes from programming, the way that we were raised, everything we've heard and seen and been told. And the dark side knows that, and that's why they use it. That's why they use misinformation. So I have a million amazing stories I'd like to share with you from all these meditations. Raising children through all of this, I can honestly say, with all the things that I've accomplished and all the things that I have done, being a mom is absolutely number one. And I have never tried harder at anything in my entire life than that. And, there was a time when I thought, man, I'm good at this. I have got this down. And then they turn into teenagers, and I have no idea how I did. I have no idea how I did. But they're good girls, and we'll see. We'll see if anything sunk in. But, the most, what drives me and what taught me the most is being a mom, because of the level of love that you experience in doing that. When I was pregnant, it was like a medical condition. I was like, oh my God, that's going to come out of there. I'm going to die. It's not going to be good. And then she came out of there, and I was like, you're such an idiot. What a gift you have been given. What an absolute, that's primal. That is, you just don't even know. I didn't know. And I love my family very much, my animals, but until they came, I didn't know the extent. I didn't know how much you could love something. And then I found out along the way, through all of this, that one, I was stronger than I thought I was. And the love that is available to you, the truth, is even more than that. The unconditionalness of it is absolutely true. And I can't find these things out and just keep them for myself. I'm just not that kind of person. If I go to dinner with my husband and I'm like, oh, this is good, you got to try this every time. And he's like, I don't have to eat your food. Okay. And I'm like, but this is really good. You have to try this. I want to share it with you. And so that's what I'm doing now. I have done, the man I was working with on all those meditations and all that research for a very long time, we ended up doing radio. And we would go into meditation with a question that can't normally be answered for the archangels. And we would exchange and compare we would reveal our findings on the air. That was the rule. We wouldn't do it before. We had to do it on the air to see if they matched. And it was really interesting. Most of the time, they matched very, very closely. And I even tested it out. I tell a story all the time. I tested it out because at some point, I'm like, this is too good. I don't even, he's probably trying to dupe me somehow. I don't know what's going on here, but I'm going to. So I went in meditation to see Archangel Michael. And I said, Michael, I don't trust him. Okay. I'm going to send him to talk to you. And the code word is yellow. That's all I want to hear. If he comes back and he says yellow, I will know that this is absolutely real, and I will continue. So I sent him in. His name was Marcus. I sent him in I said, Marcus, somebody wants to talk to you. And he knew that meant go into meditation. He's like, okay. So, and I'm waiting for the email back. And so he emails me back and he says, I don't know who you wanted me to talk to or what you wanted me to do, but Michael was there and he looked at me and he said, yellow, and told me to go. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. I won't doubt it anymore. I'll stop doing that. And it was just step by step along the way. So many things that you can't deny that led me to this place. And I'm doing this on video now because I knew they told me at some point you need to be seen, Jennifer. You need to be seen. Like, oh God, I don't know. I'm so self-conscious. I'm never, I got to lose a lot of weight, and I don't want to be seen. Why can't I just be heard? Why can't I write things and talk on the radio? Why do I have to be seen? And so that in itself was another step. That was another step in my faith, because that was saying, just throwing your arms down and saying, fine. Okay. All right. I'll do it now. And a friend of mine asked me to be on his YouTube show. And a lot of you here now are from that show. And it's been interesting and it's been so much fun. And I've met so many wonderful people. And, you guys all encouraged me to go ahead and do this. And I figured, well, nobody's throwing tomatoes at me or anything, so I think I'll do it. And, it's the author coming out from behind the curtain, and the radio show host being seen. And that's what I'm doing now because so many people asked, and it's going to be a lovely ride. So I hope that you will join me each week. Like I said, I'm not afraid to say God, and I'm not afraid to say Jesus, and I'm not afraid to say archangels, I'm not afraid to say that they talk to me, because I have been through many, many, many years of testing it out, like I just told you with the code word yellow. And I have, and so many reading clients over the years, so much confirmation, and it's time to be seen and to share it all. And that's what I'm doing. And I'm always going to keep it divine. I work with a very close-knit circle. Okay. So when you come to me for a reading, when you come to me with questions, advice, if you want me to shoot off somewhere, and see what's in this cave in the middle of the desert, I do that in meditation, of course, I always do it with the archangels. I do it with Jesus. I go and sit down next to God, and of course he shows himself to me the way that I would think that he would look like, and probably look different to you. And I ask him. And so that's why I call myself an angelic medium, because it's just like a medium talks to someone who's passed away. But I'm talking to higher vibrational entities, and I keep my circle really tight. I'm not going to start talking to some weird named somebody spirit out there. Oh yeah, talk to this guy. I don't think so, because along the way, I've seen some things, cleansing houses and, healings and all kinds of things. The good side is absolutely real. The thing is that in this universes, in all that there is, there's balance. There's a balance to everything. There's an up and a down, a right and a left, and a dark and a light. The dark side is real too. It's interestingly enough, it's easier for people to accept that the dark side is real rather than the light. But if you accept either or, you have to accept both. And I choose to work with the light. And I am and everybody I teach to do that, I teach them protection and, I teach them to develop their faith. Yes, I have a sneaky, underhanded, ulterior motive in all of it, is to bring you closer to God. That's it. Because all of this has done that for me. So much so that I just they're like family. I mean, just, you couldn't convince me otherwise. So both sides are real. And here's the secret. Everything is real somewhere. I'm going to tell you a short story, and it's my God theory. I've said it before. Those of you, this will be a review that have been with me for a while. And I'm going to do a show in more detail about this. But let's imagine that God was hanging out there, like we've been told, all-knowing. And in that infinite wisdom, he knew that all-knowing is not all-knowing without experience. You can read a book, you can watch a video, you can absorb all the knowledge you want about driving a car, but until you get in that driver's seat and do it, you don't know truly what it is to drive a car. God knew this. He also knew that in order to experience, he can't leave his post, because something has to hold everything in place. So imagine he had to separate himself. Imagine a giant crystal vase. And like lead crystal vase, they've got this huge, thick bottom on them. If you drop it right on the concrete, billions of little pieces of all different sizes. There's always that one bigger piece. There's always that base that holds everything into place. And that's God. Modern spirituality would like us to believe that we are all just part of the whole, which is true. But that goes too far. It eliminates the love and it eliminates the base. God is the unmoved mover who holds everything into place. We are separations of consciousness, pieces of God who had to forget that they are God to go off and to experience everything. And in order to do that, God can't limit himself. He gave himself free will, freedom of thought, and knew that with every thought, every question, it would create something. With every thought, there is an alternate thought. So he knew he would need places to do this. So we have dimensions. We knew that certain pieces of himself may vibrate higher than others because of freedom of thought. And we need personal realities and alternate realities and all of these places to exist. So you see, life didn't start on this planet. It's much older than that. It's infinite, because with every thought, there's another question. And with another question, there's something else to experience. And so you, as your piece right now, you're God. So am I, and so is everybody else. Here's the part that's hard. This is the part that's hard. This one took me a while. Now, if you really go far enough with this, you have to understand that with free will given to these pieces, sooner or later, someone will be in an environment or in a frame of mind where they will choose not to be part of God. And this is where you get the dark side. You, as a piece of God, are a creator. You're creating your reality in every moment of every day. The dark side cannot create. They have to use you to create for them. Hence comes the misinformation and the, all the, what am I looking for? Damn dementia. Influence. And that makes a lot of sense if you take a look at the world right now and the way the world has gone for quite a while. So also, we have to maintain a balance within the universe. Universe is the whole thing. The dark side cannot become more powerful than the light, because then all is lost. Eventually, in reality, everything is part of the whole. I'll get more into this later on. There's a few missing pieces I need to go into meditation and fill in, because I like to do that. I like to take old topics and expand on them over time. But just know that a lot of the things, if we truly knew who we were and what we were capable of, if we let go of the doubt and the fear and all the things that those who need us to do their bidding, to create what they want, has taught us, who knows what we'd be capable of. So, believing in God and all that, it's just an absolutely beautiful relationship that you should have within you. And the whole concept of he has spoken through the prophets, yes, he did. And yes, he has, and he still does all the time. You just have to determine in your reality, in you as a separation of God, which side people are on and what their true intentions are. And there's the conflict. That's where you get this. So lots of things to teach here, but I'm rambling on. Over the course of the shows, probably a long period of time, we're going to explore many, many topics. And each show, I'm going to have a different topic. I may just get on here and rant sometimes, be prepared for that. But I'm going to have a topic that I got into meditation, or one that I've already explored and it will get more information on, and I'll share it with you. Then we'll have a message for you guys, probably from Archangel Gabriel, Michael, whoever I talk to. And then we'll do readings and we'll answer questions from the chat room. And hopefully I know how to use this platform. But some of the topics we're going to talk about, something called psychic TV, very interesting. Doubt, the blocks of conscious creation. We're going to talk a lot about conscious creation. Have I mastered it? No. But I've learned about it, so I'm working on it, just like you. One of the shows is going to be 3 steps to centered. That is a process that Archangel Uriel actually gave me when somebody feels stuck, when they need to make a decision. You go through this process of 3 days. It's eliminating negative energy, basically, by positive thought. Lucid dreaming, time travel, projection of consciousness, time theory. I actually have a time theory Archangel Uriel gave me. It's basically more about how the entire universe is set up, the shape of it and how it flows. Psychic protection, again, who God is, who we are, and how the dark side tries to keep us separate. Major objective for them is how they try to keep us separate. Something called visitation and holding back, the truth about the past, ancient places, mysteries, etc. And I really, the only thing that limits me here is knowing what to ask. So I would like you guys, you can go to, let me see if I can put this up here. Look it. She can be taught. Yay, here is my website. You can go to jenniferfallaw.com and email me from there and let me know your idea for topics for the show. Topics that you want me to go in. Now, I'm talking about really, really cool stuff like, Atlantis and things like that, like universal questions or anything weird that's happened to you, not personal questions. I'm talking about a show topic. If you got a really good idea, then go ahead and email me that. My philosophy is this. Believe in infinite possibilities. A long time ago, before I started seeing them, before I started talking to them, I started auto writing. It's not scary like your hands moving, but that would scare me too much. Okay? I would have been like, that's it for me. I'm not doing this anymore. It's basically just getting a thought in your head, writing it. Word was auto writing. And I received some information from the angels. I think it was Gabriel and Michael, one of those. And then after about the world and where it was going, and they were talking about how the light is getting lighter. And I said, well, why is that? And they said, because the dark's getting darker. And I said, they were talking about how the people's vibration, this is years ago. I'm just going to keep quoting how many years ago because, I'm starting to get a little older and I don't really want to talk about it. But they said, I said, why are you telling me this? They said that the consciousness of people will start to consciously create. It will rise to the point where they can consciously create, and even the weather can be changed to suit. Not by some evil, weather altering plan or seeding clouds, but from consciousness. Like, oh, we all want sunny days. Oh, we'd really wish if it would rain, and it rains, something like that. And I said, well, why would you tell me this? Why are you telling me all this? And they said, because you chose to believe in infinite possibilities, and that is where we reside. And I went, that is where we reside, in the land of infinite possibilities. So all of these things come together. We're all going to explore a whole bunch of neat stuff, but it's really about moving forward in a positive direction. It's really about raising your vibration. It's really about peeling away all the layers of the programming so that you can be and function more as a soul. And let's do that. How interesting is that? So at this point in time, I think we've talked for an hour. I'll do that. I'll talk for hours. I could talk. If they put me up on stage somewhere, I could talk for like 4 hours, So I will stop talking now and let's get to the comments. And let me see if I can get back. Oh, good. I can get back. All right, you guys, go ahead and put up your questions for me now in case I can't scroll far enough back. So just explain a little bit like what it looks like and what it feels like when I start to do readings. So I do get all the typical Um, Basically, I've opened myself up and I've said, okay, God, I will do this. Whatever you want me to do. Whatever you want me to do. And I have a really true love in my heart and desire. And I always pray, just help me get them truth, help me get them hope, help me get them closure, whatever it is. And then what I struggle with is my own personal blocks, my own filters, my own, oh, did I say that or did he say that? And so what it kind of looks like when somebody asks me a question. Sometimes I see things in my mind, just like you'll view a memory, or I hear something in my mind, like you'll hear, like remembering. This is more accurate, like remembering when your dad said something to you. You can still hear the voice. You can still hear what he said. That's how I hear it. When I see it, it's kind of like when I'm in meditation and I shoot my consciousness off. So the one drawback from that is memory loss. Okay, not like serious memory loss, I hope. That's fear of mine. But it's like temporary memory loss. And I don't smoke pot. Okay, it's not that. It's like that though. It's like walking into a dream all of a sudden, and so I'm shooting back and forth when people are asking me questions. Shoot, talk to Gabriel, see him, come back, and I've done it so much that I started doing it while I was awake. So that's what it looks like. So I'm sitting here and somebody asks me a question. I look off to the side. I zoom over. I see Gabriel. I ask him. He does kind of hand signals, or he'll say a few words, or he'll just send it straight to my mind. If I'm too distracted, somebody else is still talking. Otherwise, he'll send the information to my mind. I'll see pictures. Usually it's interesting. Sometimes I'll see just one animated scene, and then I have to describe and put together what I'm feeling, what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing. And that's where psychic readings, that's where the experience comes in, because that's, the interpretation of the information. If it's a yes or no question and I get a no or a yes, that's not much. But if somebody asks me something like, what really happened that night? And then I'm seeing the car accident, or I'm seeing the scene, or I'm seeing, something, or it's, what are my coworkers' intentions? And I'll see the coworker, or like a short snippet of the coworker just, talking and laughing with the boss or something like that. So it's very interesting because everyone perceives their psychic information. Soul information is basically what it is. I think everybody has the ability. I do know that everybody has the ability to do this kind of meditation. I've been teaching it lately, and if you have not taken the classes, I really hope that you do. You can go to jenniferfallaw.com. That's where you can get a reading from me, a healing, whatever you need. But we've got the classes going on. I've done 2 so far for interdimensional meditation. Now, that is the type of meditation where you step into a dream, and I explain how to do that. You can go and sit and talk to your archangels. You can go and sit and talk to Jesus, God, everybody. And the first class, the second class is going into meditation, standing under the presence of God with Jesus and all the angels around, and receiving healing from them and watching it. Or it's really interesting. I'm not gonna ruin it. So those are available right now on my website. You can purchase them. I have somebody that will send you a link to view those. Now this next month, April 5th at 5 p.m. Pacific time, we're going to do interdimensional meditation class, mediumship. So you're going to be able to go into meditation, sit down wherever you'd like, and talk to your loved ones, your pets, whoever have passed away. Or, this is really cool, I hope you do this, go with the archangels and have them take you to them on their level of heaven, where they are now, and see where they're living and what they're doing, and talk to them there. How healing is that? I can't think of 3 more healing things to teach than those 3. And I hope that you take the classes. All right, here we go. We've got some questions. Okay. Let me scroll back so I don't miss any. If you asked me one earlier, please put it at the bottom. Just repeat it. Aw, thank you, Annette. I saw your comment. How sweet is that? So many people here. Thank you. I'm stuck. I need a lesson. Anybody, you know what? If you want to talk to me privately about whatever you're dealing with or whatever abilities you have and how to do better with those, basically what I do is I ask the angels what your abilities are and how you can progress in that and get exercises from them for you. So if you ever want to do that, you can go get a half-hour reading. You can get an hour reading. Hour's better because we're going to talk for a while. And just come to me. And just anytime you want. That's fine. You don't have to take the classes. I can teach you privately if you'd like. But the classes are easier for the meditation. Okay, Angie. My mom died in September. My dad died in December. And my hubby has terminal disease. I need to find God, but he seems so far away. Oh, that breaks my heart. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Oh my gosh, Angie, you need to take my classes. I'm not trying to sell you here. I just want everybody to be able to do this. I mean, that would just bring me so much joy as you can go in and get your own answers. It's just a closeness. It's kind of like you step over all the dogma and get back to a place where you were before you came here. Angie, just pray, hon. Just pray and ask him to lift you out of this hole. And he will. Let's see. Oh, I can put these on the screen. Duh. Let's see what this is. Dog Sadie, medium-sized lab mix, has a problem with ears. Growths. Okay. Let me see if I can look and I ask. So for anything medical, I ask Jesus. Anytime I do a healing, I ask him to be there. That's a neat story. I'll tell you that someday. He's at every one. Let's see. Dog. Well, it's basically, if you look inside these little things, it's basically a fungus that he has. And the cells are growing over it, like reacting to it. I don't really know what to do about that. What should we do about that? Well, the vet needs to remove them. I don't think there's any way around it. I don't know if there's an antifungal medication that you can give the dog. I don't. It's actually at the core. It's not a bacterial or a virus or anything like that. It's fungal. But the problem is that if you put cream on it, these cells have grown up almost like scar tissue or like a hard porous tissue covering this stuff up. So I would have them removed and then start with that. Or it's best to take them to the vet. All right, let's try this one. Okay. Okay, you have anxiety, Annette, about oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Annette has anxiety about a person that she is dealing with regarding disability. I just feel like if you go to somebody else, you're going to start all over. But, I'm concerned also about her progressing. If you can go to somebody else but not start all over, that would be great. Can you access all of your files and take them with you? That's what I would suggest. What do you think about that? Yeah, thumbs up on that one. Okay. Let's see what else we have for readings. Will my family stay together? Yes, in the long run, but right now it's rocky. There needs to be better communication between them. And you guys need to get back down to what's most important, the family unit. You're talking about a whole bunch of stuff outside of your life that doesn't really, yeah, it'll affect you in the long run. Shut it out. I mean, so many people, I'm going to tell everybody this right now. So many people come to me talking to me about politics right now and how they're getting a divorce and it's splitting up their family. Yeah, there's legitimate people who are getting a divorce, and that wasn't the only reason, okay? And that's fine. But if talking about this stuff is splitting up your family, don't talk about this stuff. Because clearly, you're not going to get through to them and they're not going to get through to you. We've tried this, okay? What's most important is your family, is your marriage, is the family unit. If you talk to a couple who has been together for like 50 years, 40 years, 50 years, ask the husband, don't ask the wife, ask the husband, how have you been so happy or stayed together for 50 years? And he'll say, well, there's certain things we don't talk about. It's like across the board. They'll tell you that. We don't talk about this at the dinner table, like we don't talk business at the dinner table. This is the way things used to be. This is a time where some people are open to what's going on and what you have to say, and some won't be. If they're not, you can't force it. That's like trying to force somebody into a religion. They're not going to do that. You have to let them come to you. So now you've said your piece. They know how you feel. They know where you stand. Let them come to you when the time is right, and they will. I'm telling you, they will. Okay. Marie. Cat name Olivia is developing bald spot on her back. Oh my goodness, what's going on with the cat? Let me see. It's kind of like a dermatitis kind of thing. It is a skin condition. So it's not like mites. It's not like, it is actually like almost like, he said dermatitis. So go to the vet and talk to them about that, or call. Look it up. Thank you for asking your question, Marie. Is my dog okay? Caviar dreams. I know you, woman. Is my dog Theo depressed? Let me see. Yeah. Surprisingly, yeah. It feels more like loss, transition. There's something happened recently, some kind of difference, some kind of change. It'll pass. Just give him lots of attention. Whatever he likes. I don't know if it's toys or if it's treats or if it's what, or snuggles. Just give him lots of it. Snap him right out of it. That's the mom and me talking. I was talking to Jesus too, but that's what we do, right? Like the kids all of a sudden, oh my God, I'm so depressed and this and that. Let's go shopping. Okay. And so we, I don't know, it doesn't really work well with boys, but you could take the boys out, do something, go shooting or play sports or whatever. The girls are like, let's go shopping. And we're like, okay. And so they go shopping, and then soon, sure enough, at the end of the day, everybody seems okay. Until you ask them to clean their room, and then they're depressed again. Okay. Let's see. Oh, she's commenting about somebody else. When I'm quiet, I'm just reading the chat, and I don't see very well, so let's, working on that. Let's try this one. Beck. Why are my ears ringing? Why are Beck's ears ringing? Okay, it's not Meniere's disease, interestingly enough. It's actually that you have inflammation and a little bit of water in your ears. And so what's happening is things are echoing in there. The sound is vibrating in there. So I would steer you towards, yeah, you're probably already doing this, but try a different allergy medication, because I just feel like there's a lot. It looks like it just really narrows in the back there. I think you might have a little bit of water in there. You might even have, well, it doesn't seem like an infection right now. But it really is inflammation, because the skin is vibrating in there with the vibration of sound. So I would take, and any, just so everybody knows, I keep assuming you guys know things. Any medical information that I give is meant to take to your doctor to help your doctor help you. It is not meant to diagnose anything. It's not meant to, never, disclaimer, never stop taking any medication, or, oh, well, she said that, so I'm not going to follow doctor's orders. No, this is supplementary. I mean, this is supplemental. We're going to take this information. We're going to take it in the doctor. We're going to say, we're not going to tell them that the psychic lady told you this, okay? We're going to say, this is what I think, and then insist that they check it, okay? Just say you've been doing some research, and this is what I think, and I want it checked. Oh, I see. Hi, Buckfighting. No, I did not. I did not know that Mike was going to get into a crash. I absolutely did not know. And that's interesting, because I don't really see that coming if there's nothing I can do about it. I usually don't see things like that. I don't see people's deaths unless it pertains to me. I ask a specific question. Like one time, my grandmother lived to be 100.5 years old. Nana, sweetest thing you ever know in your entire life. She got, I think it was like 6 months before she passed, she got pneumonia. And she was in the hospital. My mom was all upset. And I, at the time, was at a point in my life where I was widowed with 2 kids. And I'm like, oh my God, am I going to have to, of course, I was sad because I love my Nana. But I'm like, okay, well, why are you all sad? How long does a woman have to live? She gave it her shot. She hit 100. Let her go, because I know what home's like. And I'm like, let it go home. But my mom was very upset, thought she was going to die. And what I asked is, I asked the Blessed Mother, I said, am I going to have to go to California for a funeral soon? Because I was concerned about my finances at the time. She said, not until February. And that was like 6 months. I'm like, okay. So I did a healing. I projected to Nana. And it was interesting because she saw me. I was Jesus and everything. She's like, oh, hello, Jenny. I was like, what? Why did she see me? And so she was in that state. She was in that place where, you hear about people can see the angels and the loved ones before they pass, or say like, oh, your father was here and things like that. She saw me. And she said, well, I'm just waiting to go home. And I said, no, Nana, not until February. She goes, oh, okay. And then so we did the healing on her. She got better. She got out of the hospital, and she died. I think it was, if my family's watching, they might correct me, but I think it was like the very end of January, like the last day, January 31st. And we went down in February for the funeral. And it was so interesting. because I told the family, because they didn't know what I do. You know, you hide this because you got kids and everybody's going to think you're delusional and everything else. And so, but my Aunt Kay, she was like, how did you know that? How did you know that? The funeral, I'm like, I don't know. Lucky guess. You know? But so it was only then that I knew when she was going to die, because it pertained to me and when I had to prepare to take a trip. So a lot of things have happened to me in my personal life. They're totally unexpected. Why tell somebody? Everything that I received from the angels is so loving. I mean, just so gracious, just so perfect. You know, they're perfect teachers. Why would they tell you? Like, if you, like 6 months from now, if you were going to die or somebody was going to get in a car accident, they know there's nothing you can do about it. They know it's written into your life plan or the other person's. Why tell you now? So you can suffer and drive yourself crazy for 6 months? Needless suffering. They're not going to apply needless suffering. So when people come to me for a reading or something, it's all productive and constructive information. It may not always be everything you want to hear, but it's not going to be forecasting doom. And if you go to reading to somebody, this pisses me off so bad. If you go to reading to somebody and there's like, yeah, you're going to die in like few months. That is so ridiculous. Run away and then push it out of your mind, because that was not divine. They will not tell you that. Only God knows the day. Okay. I know you were kidding, Buck Fiden. We know you were kidding. Oh, dreams. That's another good topic. I love that. So interesting. About 3 years ago, I had the same dream on 4 different nights. Something was holding me down. I couldn't move. But on the 4th dream, I was able to say, in the name of Jesus Christ, yes, I'm so glad. Yes. See, somewhere inside you, you know that has happened to me, but not being held down. But I have yelled the name of Jesus in a dream, immediately out from a bad situation. It's very powerful. Something holding you down. That is what we call a psychic attack. It could be something physical, but to happen that often, that is what we call a psychic attack. The dream state is common ground. You can have positive energies in there and entities and negative entities. Most of the time, the scene is set by you, and it's an ongoing creation by you. Loved ones who have passed away, who try to communicate with you, if you ever notice, they only show up for a very short time, just get a few words out, tell you love them, or they love you, and that's it. The reason for that is because they have to hold your attention. The minute they say something, your mind starts working, and as soon as your mind starts working, you're creating with thought in the dream. Interestingly enough, we're creating with thought right now, but it's totally acceptable that we're creating with thought in the dreams. And so as soon as so that the loved one comes to see you, and oh my God, you're here. Oh my God, I'm so happy to see you. They get a few words out, you hug, whatever, and then you switch over to sadness. You switch over to something, one word that they said made you think of something else, and you shift your awareness and they're gone. Basically, you left, is what happened. Always pray before you go to sleep. Always ask, if anyone, Archangel Michael to be with you in your dreams. I ask Gabriel and Michael to be with me in my dreams every night. They'll pull you out and they'll protect you. The archangels, remember I said there were different sizes to the pieces of God. It's not better or worse, okay? the archangels, just like Jesus can be with everyone, because you asked him to step into your personal reality. And once you ask him to step into your personality, he could be there with you all day long. But your best friend, your own personal Jesus. And I mean, that sounds bad, but it's true. The archangels are the same way. So it's not like I'm so special I can talk to all the archangels. It's no, I asked them, why are you talking to me? Why are you with me in this lifetime? I said, because you asked me to. I said, I don't remember doing that before you came. Like, really? Awesome. So ask them to be with you. Ask God for everything. Include him in everything. Have an ongoing conversation in your mind all the time. You can't hide anything from him because he is you. He knows every thought. That's how. This is why you are not separate. This is why you're not insignificant. This is why the angels and Jesus and everybody loves you so much, because they see God in you. And to them, it's precious. They treat me like some kind of precious child when I go over there. Maybe because I'm so ignorant, but I just, it's so loving. And they see that within you. Okay. Rattling on. Jennifer, I'm looking to switch jobs. When will that be? And will it be in my hometown? No, it doesn't feel like your hometown. It feels like just not too far away from it, though. Not too far away. Between 3 and 4 months. More like a 4 months. Right now it's not good. Look into it. Figure out what you want to do. Make your plans. Get things set up. Then do it. But that's what you're going to do, basically. Okay. All right, let's do. Kelly, my dog Emma yelps in pain. She's on pain meds. The vet cannot figure out what is causing her pain. Let me look. Emma. Okay, so she has nerve and arthritis issues. Arthritis, the vet really can't see it. But she also gets these stabbing nerve kind of pains. Jesus says that's a birth defect. But she does also have arthritis, and I'm seeing it in the top of the spine as it goes down to the back of the hip. So that's in that whole region there. So I would just make her comfortable. I don't know how you can fix that. You can bring it to me for a healing. We can take it to God and hope for the best. Now, with this healing stuff, I am just a girl that walks in and with the true honest intent and love for you, to pair with you, to stand before God and Jesus and ask for this healing. Yes, I let it come through my body and I move it around and do this and that and ask the question and say that I do the thing. I do the dance, okay? But it's God's healing. It's not me. I'm just the one with good intentions to go in and do it for you. Okay? Well, I meet my friend from Africa. Tammy. No. Sorry. Okay. Michael says our deceased family members are actually the lucky ones, as they get to go to the next realm. But that's not always an easy pill to swallow. Well, you'll be there someday too. I mean, that's where we come from. Now, we're all human now, as far as I know. All right. But we all come from different origins. And that basically means that, there's some people. So the whole human soul thing sparks my interest. But we do come, there are souls that choose to incarnate on other planets or have for a very long time. The time that this planet has been around is so short compared to the time period of everything. So you are all, you're absolute warriors for being here. You are absolute warriors for being here, every single last one of you. And that's why Jesus told us not to judge. If we would, I wish we had the real teachings, without that, haven't been like, well, we're going to take this out and put this in and change this around. Well, how dare you? Why? And then we've got the beginning of his life and we've got the end of his life. Where's the rest of it? I want that. I want to hear about that. I want to read that. But, I just forgot what I was going to talk about. But, deceased loved ones, they are very lucky. They view your time here as a triumph, even just to survive, because we're in a place where the vibration is so much lower and so much negativity can run amok. And you should all be proud of yourselves. Jesus said not to judge, right? Because you really just don't know. It could be like an angel incarnated in that guy sitting on the side of the road that had so much problem with alcohol and everything because he's only been here once, and this planet's really hard for him. You come from a perfect environment, being able to do all these things and not have, and then come to a very difficult life. You don't know what kind of soul's in there. You don't know if this is some kind of like super extra credit journey for him. And it may look like he failed miserably, but that may not be the case. So let's get some more questions, then we're going to get going. Let's see. My husband and I have heard weird yells, calls at our cottage. Are there Bigfoot in northeastern Wisconsin? Oh, I got to do a show on Bigfoot. You got to, I don't know if I should tell you. I'll do another show. I'll get more information. Okay, so what I found out about Bigfoot, and let me ask you a question first. Are there Bigfoot over there? Yeah, they're everywhere. Yeah, they're everywhere. This is what I got about Big Ground. This Bigfoot, before I even knew that there were any, like, all the talk about tunnels and all this stuff, I didn't know about any of that. So I got that the Bigfoot are ancient, okay? Pretty much before the humans got here. They were dropped off here because this sounds crazy, okay? Just go with it, all right? Just go with it for a minute. So they were dropped off here a long, long time ago, like dinosaur time, all right? The surface of the earth was so hostile that they decided to live underground. So they started tunneling. And so they were dropped off here because, and it really wasn't bad intentions. It was actually like, well, it wasn't nice either. So this race wanted the planet that they were on. And they tried to lovingly come in and get them and take them away and put them on another nice planet. And they thought that was perfectly acceptable, right? But so they fight. So the Bigfoot start fighting like, no, you're not going to do this. And so a lot of them died. And then the ones that were left, they brought them to this planet and they went underground because the surface was so dangerous and hard. So Bigfoot, I found out, the reason you can't find them is because they live in these tunnel systems, almost like an anthill would be. And so they said you would have, and they're like these communities or these families. Like a village, okay? So they would have this tunnel system for this pack, this group of them, on all different parts of the world. And they look different in certain parts of the world. according to the way that they need to look when they come to the surface, so they can camouflage themselves so that they can go back down. Because originally they needed to be camouflaged because the surface of the earth was so terrible and a lot of predators, so they didn't want to be seen. So that's in their instincts to hide. Okay, so they got these tunnel systems, and they're like in diameter, like one of them would be like 200 miles. And they live down under the ground. And they've got these holes, they're like 3 feet around, okay? And it's camouflaged with like brush and stuff like that. So they jump out of these holes, go run around, get whatever they need. And there's holes everywhere, but you don't see them because they're really camouflaged, about 3 feet around. So they will jump out of the hole. If somebody sees them, there's another hole close by, and they don't go too far from the opening that they came out of. So then they down into the hole. Now, Bigfoot hunters, do not go down into the holes. Okay? Don't go in there. You're going to die. They are peaceful with each other. They don't want to be bothered, but they will kill you. And here's the other gross thing I found out, and it was hard for me to stomach, but somebody said this was true if you look into, if you really look into it. But the reason you don't find any bones of the dead, first of all, they take care of that underground. But what I was told is that, let's say Grandma dies, Grandma Bigfoot dies, and they really love their family, okay? So they eat her. They eat her, and like every piece of her. And because in their minds, that they love her so much, in their minds, that's the only respectful thing to do is to, she now becomes part of them, which I think that's beautiful, but they're dead. Okay, let's go on to the last question, and then we'll get going. All right, I try to go in order. I try not to put, I got a couple more to do. I don't want to, Debbie's in there. Oh, Aaron, let's see. My kitty, Gidget, passed away in August, out of the blue, very young. Is she still around me? Gidget's still around. She is a bed dweller. She is on your bed a lot. Animals seem to come to visit us and just like hang out more than humans do. Humans have a long, long history, all kinds of people that they've loved, all kinds of stuff going on. Animals, I'm starting to think that they're basically, I don't know, I'm thinking they come here once and they have like one owner, one special friend, and they miss you. And they just want to come back, and they're just waiting around till you come home someday. So they're just going to keep, they go back to they probably live in your home in heaven, and they come back here, and that's what I think. Okay. Debbie, when is Biden and Kamala going? That's so hard, because there's certain things that I want. And it's so hard to answer that. So much easier to talk about your pets than yourself. When are they going away? Really? What do you mean, like, going away? Okay, so this is what I'm getting. Don't quote me on this because I get I start questioning things, I get it wrong. But let's hope this is right. So, I'm getting that in 3 months, he won't have a job. Let's say it that way, because this is my first show, on my own channel, and I don't want it to get taken down. All right, so in 3 months, he won't have a job. But going away would be like jail, right? That's August. Okay, that's all I'm going to say right now. So try not to be, this is not political. All right, one more and let's go. Oh, Mike's here. Okay. Hypertension. Oh, okay. Well, let me ask, because that can be distracting. He says is there a better way to meditate when he's got hypertension since a child and he loses concentration? 15 minutes. Can you do it for 15 minutes? You know what? Interestingly enough, I don't go in, and I can't stay in for more than like a half an hour. And when I do, I turn around, think it's a half an hour. It's been like 2 hours. That's not like a normal occurrence. But it's like I can't sit still that long, or I just start to lose focus. So what I'll do is I'll take a break, and then I'll go back in if I'm not done. So just try shorter trips, and ask the angels to help you get there, to talk to them. You know, anything that you guys need. All you got to do is pray. And, you know, I think, yes, there are a lot of sacred prayers. Yes. But your true, honest intent, true, honest desires, you just open your heart up to God and you just realize that He knows everything you're thinking anyway. And just talk to Him and pray and say, ask in the right way. Say, will you help me get there? Will you help me see the truth? Will you help me financially? Will you heal me? Will you do this, please? You know, help me know you better. Help me remember you. I am embarrassed to say, but there was a time in this whole journey, you know, of course, I was raised Catholic and all that. And you're supposed to love Jesus. And I tell people, oh, yeah, I love Jesus. Yeah. I didn't feel it. I just knew I was supposed to. And at one time, I had this dream of Him. And I was standing in front of Him. It was a dream. It was an actual dream. And I said, I'm sorry, but I know I'm supposed to love you, but I don't feel it. Will you help me remember you? And that was it, man. I mean, right after I did that, gangbusters. I mean, all kinds of stuff started happening in my life spiritually and psychically. I mean, there's certain signposts along the way on your spiritual journey. You have to make a conscious decision. And you write them into your path in this life. And sometimes you'll just say something out of the blue, or somebody come and ask you a question out of the blue. Like some guy when I was dating, you know, you get on the phone and you start talking about, oh, what's your favorite color and all this stuff. He goes, if you had a superpower, what would it be? And I'm like, I just spit it out like a weirdo. I'm just like, I would heal people physically, emotionally, and spiritually. He's like, that's heavy. I'm like, I know. I don't even know where that came from. I never even want to go into healthcare. I didn't even know what the hell was that. But somebody, that was the moment. I wrote it in. He came, called me that day. He was supposed to ask me that question. And at that time, if I was ready, if my subconscious, my soul, my superconscious, whatever, if it was time and I was ready, then I would have answered correctly ever since. I mean, there's just, you guys will know, some of you that have abilities and been doing this stuff. There comes a time when the time is right and you're asked a question and you make a decision. And that's when you learn something new. I want to thank everybody for joining me here tonight. What a wonderful thing to come here and talk to you like this. And I do hope that you share it with your friends. Maybe if there's something that I said that you thought would be helpful. I'm going to do it again in a couple days. So be on the lookout for that. I will get a set schedule, but right now my reading schedule is pretty heavy. If you would like a reading from me or healing, you can go to jenniferfallaw.com. Let me put that up on the banner. I'll get better at this soon. Promise. You can go to jenniferfallaw.com. It'll let you purchase and schedule there. You can pick up my classes on interdimensional meditation and learn how to do what I do. I can teach you how to get there. What you do with it is completely up to you. And that is a wonderful journey. We're going to have a live class on April 4th and with Mike Barra on his channel. And it's going to be interdimensional meditation, mediumship. And we're going to be teaching that. If you have not taken the other two and you would like to take two, I highly recommend it. You can get those right now on my website. You can also go to beaconoflightradio.com, which is my radio station. It's not just a radio show. It's not a podcast. It's an actual station. I have to clarify that for a lot of people. And it runs 24/7. And we've got thousands of shows playing there and live shows as well at certain times. It's all about all the stuff I've been talking about. I mean, we've got, spiritual stuff. We've got Bigfoot. We've got aliens. We've got mysteries of the world and all kinds of things going on over there. Sci-fi, everything. And you can listen to it anytime you want. It's absolutely free. And I don't have any commercials on there because I don't have to. And they're annoying. So just go listen to it for free. I want to thank everybody once again for being with me today. I'm so excited, and I hope that you will share this and join me again next time. Thank you.